Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news. When it comes to the Detroit Lions, folks, there's a lot of excitement in the air. You can feel it as we approach the 2025 NFL season. The Lions, after a remarkable 2024 campaign, are determined to build on that momentum and make a real push for the Super Bowl. But of course, the NFL is all about adjustments, strategic moves, and staying ahead of the competition. And if there's one thing that stands out right now, it's how the Lions are maneuvering in the offseason to stay competitive, even with some significant personnel changes and the ongoing shuffle across the league. Let's start with the big picture. The Lions managed to avoid a major roster overhaul this offseason, which in itself is a win. Keeping core players intact is critical for continuity, especially when you're trying to build a championship-level team. They've shown a lot of savvy in locking down key players like Kirby Joseph and Derek Barnes with long-term extensions. These guys are vital cogs in their defense, and their stability provides a foundation for the team's future. But naturally, fans are always eager to see what the front office is cooking up in terms of new additions, especially on the defensive side of the ball where the Lions, historically, have been seeking that extra punch. And speaking of new pieces, Detroit made some interesting moves by bringing in veteran cornerback DJ Reed. He's a player with a proven track record, especially in the AFC West, and he adds depth and experience to the secondary. His coverage skills and playmaking ability could be a real boost for the Lions, giving them more flexibility in their defensive schemes. On the defensive line, they drafted first-round rookie Tyleik Williams, a disruptive force out of Ohio State, who has the potential to develop into a dominant interior presence. That kind of talent infusion is exactly what Detroit needs to keep up with their division rivals, who have been aggressively upgrading their rosters. But as with any team aiming for the top, there are areas where the Lions could still improve, especially considering how the rest of the NFC North has been bulking up in the offseason. The division is no longer a cakewalk. The Vikings, Bears, and Packers are all making moves, adding talent, and reshaping their rosters to challenge Detroit's dominance. So the Lions are wisely considering strategic trades and signings to stay ahead. Now, one of the biggest questions remains: how are they going to bolster their pass rush? This is crucial because, in today's NFL, a potent pass rush can be the difference maker in close games, especially in the playoffs. This brings us to a potential game-changing move that's been on the radar: a trade for Bengals pass rusher Trey Hendrickson. Now, Hendrickson isn't just any player. He's a proven NFL star who led the league with 17.5 sacks last season. That's a staggering number, and it's exactly what Detroit needs to bolster their front seven. The Lions have yet to settle on who will start opposite Aiden Hutchinson, their franchise cornerstone. Right now, veteran Marcus Davenport seems to be the top candidate after OTAs, but let's be honest, he's been hampered by injuries. Just 6 games in the last 2 seasons. Behind him, options like Josh Paschal and rookie Ahmed Hassanian are there, but it's a bit underwhelming for a team that wants to contend at the highest level. So the idea of making a bold trade for Hendrickson makes sense. Imagine pairing Hutchinson with a pass rusher of Hendrickson's caliber. Opposing quarterbacks would have a much tougher time, and that pass rush could be a nightmare for offenses. Hendrickson, at 30, is still in his prime, and his consistent production over the last few seasons is impressive. He's made the Pro Bowl 4 times, recording 57 sacks, 112 quarterback hits, and 11 forced fumbles in that span. The Bengals, who are rebuilding in some areas, might be willing to part ways with him for the right price. And Detroit, with over $40 million in cap space, has the financial flexibility to make this happen. Now, acquiring Hendrickson wouldn't just be about one season. It's about building a sustainable pass rush that can terrorize offenses for years. The Lions could structure a deal that keeps their future flexible, especially considering Hutchinson's contract situation. They'd need to find a way to make Hendrickson fit under the salary cap, without hamstringing their ability to extend Hutchinson or other key players down the line. It's a delicate balancing act, but one that could pay off massively. Switching gears a bit, another area where Detroit is looking to improve is their offensive line, which, as we all know, is the backbone of any successful team. Earlier in June, the Lions suffered a significant blow when veteran center Frank Ragnow announced his retirement. Ragnow has been a cornerstone for years, a leader on and off the field, and losing him leaves a noticeable gap. But the Lions have a plan. They drafted Tate Ratledge in the second round of this year's draft, a talented interior lineman out of Georgia, who could step in and eventually become a key piece of the offensive line. However, there's still some uncertainty about whether he can fully handle the job right away. That's why Detroit might consider making a move for a veteran interior lineman to add depth and experience. Here enters the potential trade for Cade Mays from the Carolina Panthers. Mays is a versatile lineman who played extensively at center and guard last season, and Pro Football Focus rated him very highly, noting he allowed 0 sacks and just 10 pressures on 495 snaps at center in 2024. That kind of consistency is rare for a player of his experience level, and he could be a perfect fit for the Lions' offensive line puzzle. The Panthers may be open to moving him, especially if Detroit offers a day 3 draft pick, which wouldn't be a massive price to pay for an immediate upgrade. May's ability to play both guard and center makes him a valuable piece, and with some coaching, he could develop into a starter or a reliable rotational player. Now, let's talk about the defense once again, because everyone knows that Detroit's success hinges on their ability to get after the quarterback. While Hutchinson is a star, the team needs that second edge rusher to really put pressure on opposing offenses. And this is where the Lions might look into the trade market for a player like Kayvon Thibodeaux from the New York Giants. Thibodeaux, only 24, has yet to fully realize his potential after being the 5th overall pick in 2022. But his talent is undeniable. Over his first 3 seasons, he's tallied 21 sacks, 127 tackles, and 46 quarterback hits. He's shown flashes of dominance, especially in the 2023 season where he recorded 5 sacks in a full 17-game campaign. The Giants may be motivated to move Thibodeaux, especially since they have other pass rushers like Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, and they might be looking for draft capital to rebuild or retool their roster. Detroit could be an ideal landing spot for him, especially considering they'd have control over his contract for the next 2 years, with cap hits of roughly $10 million in 2025 and $75 million in 2026. This would give the Lions a dynamic duo of Hutchinson and Thibodeaux rushing the passer, which could elevate their defense to elite status. Of course, acquiring Thibodeaux wouldn't come cheap. Expect a day 2 draft pick as part of the deal. But for Lions fans, the potential to have 2 young, explosive pass rushers leading the charge is incredibly exciting. It's a move that could pay dividends immediately and also set the team up for sustained success. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the Lions' front office has a lot of options, and they're clearly not resting on their laurels after last season. The NFC North is shaping up to be a fiercely competitive division, with each team making moves to unseat Detroit from the top spot. But the Lions are smart. They recognize where they need reinforcement and are willing to be aggressive in the trade market. Whether it's adding a proven pass rusher like Hendrickson or Thibodeaux, bolstering their interior line with Mays or another veteran, or simply maintaining their core and making smart extensions, they're setting themselves up for a serious run. The coaching staff, led by Dan Campbell, remains optimistic but realistic. They know that to go all the way, they need to address their weaknesses and maximize their strengths. The offensive line, the pass rush, and even depth at linebacker and secondary are all areas where strategic moves could make all the difference. And with the talent they have, especially on offense with Goff leading the way, and a defense that's rapidly improving, the 2025 season could be one of their most exciting yet. Fans, it's important to remember that the NFL offseason is a fluid process. Trades can happen unexpectedly, signings can alter the landscape overnight, and the Detroit Lions are very much in the thick of it. The anticipation is building, and every move they make could be the key to unlocking that elusive Super Bowl goal. So stay tuned, keep your eyes on those reports, and prepare for what could be a historic year for the Lions. And now, Detroit Lions fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all these potential moves? Do you think they're enough to push the team over the top? Or do you believe they need to go even bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Detroit Lions. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Detroit Lions news. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come.